At 39 years old, Luka Modrić became Real Madrid's oldest ever player over the weekend, and it got me thinking, why don't we see more players age gracefully with their clubs the way Modrić and Real Madrid have figured out to do? Believe it or not, a lot of this is under the players' control, and we could see more of it if players were just a little more amicable. We're going to talk about why that is next here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. Alright, so not every player could play till 39. That's not what I'm talking about. What Luka Modrić is doing to still play at a high level at one of, if not the best club in Europe at the age of 39 is nothing short of remarkable, and he still contributes internationally. He had a great World Cup into his late 30s. He won a Ballon d'Or in his 30s. I mean, the guy is aging like fine wine, and that is not what I'm suggesting. That is a combination of his work ethic and just God-given ability and endurance and all sorts of things, and I'm in no way suggesting that players should all play till 40 and that there's some magical thing they could do to make that happen. What I'm talking about is the relationship that he has with Real Madrid and the way they have managed to keep that going, and that is under a lot of players' control, but it takes something a lot of players don't have, and that's humility. So we're going to talk about that in a second, but before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. Get down in that comment section, let me know what you think, what other players have done this well and which ones haven't, because we can list a whole bunch and we're going to. But get in that comment section, let me know what you think. You can also leave comments on Twitter at Pitchside Pub and check out the website pitchsidepub.com. So humility, that's what it comes down to, because Luka Modrić and Real Madrid have managed to stay intact. This is a club legend who is now no longer a club legend, and he's playing well, but he's being used sparingly and in the right spots, and he's getting starts when they need to rotate, but he is not a key figure for this Real Madrid team, at least not at this point, although as players continue to get hurt and they're going to need to call on him, they're going to be damn glad that he's sitting there and go, hey old guy, can you get in and save the day again? And he'll be able to do it. But they have found this really amicable situation where he's playing but not a starter, which is good because at 39, no matter how incredibly physically gifted he is and the shape that he's in, he cannot go out there every single game and give them 90 minutes. That's just not feasible for a 39-year-old. Any 39-year-old. Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm talking to you. You had to go to Saudi Arabia to find a league where you could do that in. Even Lionel Messi, you had to go to MLS to find a league you could still do that in. He cannot do that for Real Madrid. Not maybe against the lower La Liga teams that aren't very good, but he's not going to be a starter for a Champions League caliber championship team at 39. Not every single minute, every single game. He can't be the guy they rely on. But they have found a great balance, and the key here is that Modrić is okay with it. I'm sure he would like to be playing more, but he understands that he can't, and he even came out after the game where he sort of broke the record for being the oldest Real Madrid player ever, and he said, well, I don't love to celebrate being the old guy, but I'm in a great situation, I'm getting to play still, I'm on a great team, I love it here, and I'm paraphrasing, but that was the general gist of it. He is still playing even at 39, and these aren't courtesy minutes. This isn't, 10 minutes here to keep you happy. He's getting some spot starts. He's coming in off the bench. It's a great situation. And you have to give Real Madrid credit for wanting to keep him around, but the player has most of the say in this, right? He has to be willing to take the diminished role, and that can be hard to do at a club where you have been a star and have been a starter and have been a key piece. And we've even seen at Real Madrid that this doesn't work. Cristiano Ronaldo left, he went to Juventus first, but he left as he was no longer becoming the focal point and his skills were beginning to diminish, and he went to Juventus. A better example is Karim Benzema, who was two years removed from being a Ballon d'Or winner and went to Saudi Arabia, and the club wasn't pushing him out the door, but said, hey, we're ready to go with a younger number 9 up top and to move forward, and probably already had their sights set on Kylian Mbappe. And Benzema could have said, hey, I'll take a backup role. I'll play when you need me. I'll get some spot starts. I'll come off the bench and give you 20 good minutes and score some game-winning goals and things like that. But he didn't want to do that. And I'm not judging. It's fine. If he saw a big payday and he gets to play and whatever. And we've never heard from him again because it's Saudi Arabia. But I'm not judging what anybody wants to do. Everybody has to make their own career choices. But think about what has happened with Benzema versus what has happened with Modric. And those are contemporaries of one another from the same club, right? Those guys aged out at the same club at the same time, and yet one has figured out a way to still be a Real Madrid player and go and win more trophies and still contribute. He's not just some figurehead sitting on the bench not playing. He's contributing. He's just not the main guy anymore. And that's the struggle is when players, when high-level athletes get to that point where they're not the main guy anymore and they can't really handle it. And so a lot of them go somewhere else where they can still be the main guy. Cristiano is the main guy in Saudi Arabia on his club there. Lionel Messi is the main guy in Miami. They take that step down so they can still be the main guy. And hey, again, that's fine, but it sure is nice from a fan perspective to see Luka Modric age gracefully and be okay not being the main guy and go, yeah, I know you got Jude Bellingham and all these young midfielders. I'm going to play my role and I'm going to do my part. And that's really admirable, and that's probably my favorite thing about Luka Modric, and we just don't see a lot of it. Now, we see a lot of aging players who go back to a boyhood club almost as a thank you. I actually love that. I understand that. That has a sweetness to it. You know, I came up here, I got way too good for you 15 years ago. I went on, I was a star. Now I'm going to go back and finish up with you. There was talks of Cristiano Ronaldo going back to Sporting, where he, spent a little time before he broke out. That would be really nice. Of course, he didn't do it. He went and took a ton of money in Saudi. But when that sort of thing happens, I understand that. I like that. But outside of that, it really would be nice if players could accept that sort of minimal role, lesser role, still contributing role, and still be a part of that team. And we've seen some situations where players went and tried to find a different situation. It didn't work out too well. Look at İlkay Gündoğan, who left Manchester City to go play at Barcelona, and after 1 year they cast him off, and he's right back where he started. And so it's not always the grass is greener there. And I think players are realizing that to a certain extent. But I would love to see aging stars take on that sort of mentorship role, take on that rotation role. I'm going to contribute, but I'm not going to get 4,000 minutes a game. But look at the schedules now. With 70 games in a season for some of these big clubs, there are plenty of minutes to go around. There are plenty of rotations. There's more substitutes. There's more midweek games. So if you are the fourth midfielder in a three-man formation, so you're not one of the main starters, you're still going to get plenty of chances to play. And I can think of lots of guys who could take on that diminished role at a club, and it could suit them really well. At Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne is a great example. He's not a guy who should be going out there at this point and playing 90 minutes 3 times a week. But in a lesser role, if you pick and choose your spots, he can still go out and be that guy that he's going to be. And maybe he's not there yet, but in a year or two, that's the sort of role I would love to see him have. There's the old country song, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. That's sort of what Modric is doing, and that's what we could see, Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah in a couple years. He's not there yet. He's still doing great. But, as those guys age, maybe they take the midweek starts and they come off the bench and they score the goals, and the legacy just continues. I mean, Luka Modric is going to go down as a legend because he's going to leave Real Madrid on such good terms when the time comes. So I love to see it. I wish more players took this approach and this sort of humble attitude and helped their club transition to the next page and kept their star power where it is so that it doesn't get diminished by them going and playing at some lesser club or bouncing around, seeing him in another jersey. That's always painful for fans. I love seeing this. That's why I'm a big Luka Modric fan, and I'd like to see more players do it. What players would you like to see do it, and which players do you think should have and took a different approach? Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave comments on Twitter at PitchsidePub. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel and check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub.